Well, welcome to the New Health Conversation podcast, where we're going to discuss why diets are failing us, because they are. We've got 80% of America overweight and 50% of those people are obese. Does anyone really think that conventional diet advice about lowering calories is the real secret? We're going to make you aware today of the medical evidence proving that going on a diet by lowering calories may be one of the most unhealthy things you could ever do for yourself. Again, at the New Health Conversation, we don't give you opinions. So this is the New Health Conversation podcast. It's not an infomercial. It's based 100% on medical proof and medical evidence. We're going to also, this is really exciting, we're going to expose you to 7 new peer-reviewed human trial studies that are such a revolutionary breakthrough that the researchers who did this for more than 38 years, they're totally stunned. Because men and women, the researchers didn't want them to exercise, and they didn't. But they lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet. They ended up gaining 6 to 9% lean muscle mass, lost as much weight in a month as almost a year of any diet out there, and instead they reduced their visceral fat by 33%. 33% in 8 weeks, no exercise allowed, no sit-ups, no crunches, nothing. No one's ever seen anything like this. So welcome aboard. This is the New Health Conversation podcast. It's not an infomercial. We're discussing why diets are failing us, and we're only going to give you medical proof. We're not going to give you opinions. If you want opinions, there's plenty of people on TikTok and Facebook that are giving out opinions left and right. But are any of them giving you one shred of medical evidence about what they're talking about? We're going to do that today. We're going to show you. Here's our job. We just want to give you a choice, okay? Because right now, before you get on this podcast, your only choice, from what I can see, unless someone can put something else in the chat, is that the only way to lose weight is to lower calories. Well, the problem with that is that all the medical evidence, all the medical experts now are completely changing their mind. They're absolutely saying that counting calories is one of the most ridiculous things we ever came up with. And I'll give you the reasons and I'll show you the proof. Again, this is the New Health Conversation podcast. My name is Peter Greenlaw. I've been a nutritional researcher for 21 years, having written 4 best-selling books and done over 1,500 lectures all over the world. Now, the thing that's so amazing about that is for 20 of those years, it didn't matter in the medical world. It meant nothing until a year ago when these 7 new peer-reviewed studies have come out. The researchers who did the studies are the number 1 nutrition researchers in the world for more than 38 years, and they have said these studies will obsolete everything we ever thought about diet, exercise, and nutrition. Well, can you imagine losing as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet? It's healthy weight loss, no loss of water weight. Doesn't that kind of excite you? Doesn't it make you curious? And at any moment, I'm going to put it up here for you. You can go to our website. It's totally free. And the reason we would want you to go there for your benefit is you get to see the medical evidence. You get to like I said, there it is, the New Health Conversation. And that website, if you go there, we will not contact you. The only way we'll contact you is a form. It says a free consultation. By the way, we show you everything before you do any free consultation. We're showing you the medical studies. We're showing you the before and afters. There's an interview with the number 1 nutritional researcher in the world, and there's also a walkthrough video of exactly as close as we can do without physically talking to you, of what they did to create these unbelievable, these results have never been seen before, ever. Oh, I guess I need to plug my earphones in. That's one of the problems here. Okay. Hear me. I apologize for that. I didn't realize I didn't have my earphones plugged in. But anyway, this is the New Health Conversation podcast. Today we're going to discuss why diets are failing us, because they are. We're going to only show you medical evidence. We're not giving you any opinions. Opinions shouldn't mean anything. They don't mean anything. But when we give you medical proof, hopefully it's going to really open your eyes, and you're going to see how incredibly misled we're being. And I don't fault the people telling us that. They're telling what they thought they knew. But we're going to show you today the evidence that the top weight loss people in the world are saying that they were wrong, that everything they told us about diet, exercise, and nutrition went out the window. Proven in these are 7 new peer-reviewed human trial studies where the results are just staggering. Let me give you just a quick preview. These have not been photoshopped. No way. On my kids' lives, on my grandkids' lives, we didn't touch them. The first woman, this is exactly 30 days, not 30 weeks. Look at the difference. Look at her. Look, 21.2 pounds, 38.75 inches. Look at her waist in just 30 days.
Look at the difference. This is not like a diet. This has nothing to do with dieting. This is a whole different ball game where the researchers have really broken the code. They proved that this new methodology is going to change everything that we thought. Here's another picture. This is exactly, you can see October 3rd, November 9th. Yeah, it's the same year. But look at the transformation in her body from here. But it's all the way down her body. It's a complete change. And then if any of you are athletes out there, where do you see this? Day 1, day 5, day 12. Look at that transformation in just 11 days. No one's ever seen anything like this, especially the researchers. And what they did, they basically, because they don't sell anything, they're just researchers, but they had these theories about what would it look like. Was 38 years they've been looking for the secret bullet, the silver bullet for weight loss, and now they believe they found it, okay? Now, the key here is, and you'll notice there, you can schedule a free consultation. I mean free, okay? So basically what did they do in the medical studies? They did 4 things that were completely different than, well, one of them wasn't. They created a grocery list where people in the studies could go and get half the food from the grocery store. But here was the key. The other 5 foods that people were consuming came from all over the world. They came from New Zealand, they came from China, they came from Russia, Mongolia, Manchuria, Tibet and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand. Now, why was that important? Because the food in this country is becoming increasingly nutritionally, almost nutritionally bankrupt. Now, these are not supplements. These were foods. These came, like I said, from all over the world. So it was a combination, half the food from the grocery store, half the food with these. Now, the next thing that was the game changer was how people consume the food. Like one of the methods was called protein pacing, which they proved works. And then a completely radical new concept called intermittent nutritional fasting. Notice, not fasting, not time restricted eating, nutritional fasting, where people were able to consume food even when they were fasting, but it was very little calories and massive amounts of nutrition. And what were the results? Well, no diets ever produced anything like this. So the researchers who also didn't allow anybody to exercise, because they didn't want exercise to be an outlier, and so what did they find? Well, they found that men and women lost as much weight in 7 days as 8 weeks of any diet. They lost as much weight in a month as a year. And I'm going to show you the diet, the major diets, and what the research is on them. And but also they shrunk the belly fat by 33% in 8 weeks. No one's ever seen anything like this before. Now, let's now go and look at some of the evidence from these medical experts about counting calories, which is what we've all been told. You may be doing that right now, or you're thinking about doing, etc. Because there's no diet out there that's not some form of lowering calories. That's what made this break with traditional diets about counting and lowering calories so important, because they proved that was obsolete. But to back them up, this is a study. It says stop counting calories. It's by, well, here's what they said. Oh, by the way, it happens to be Harvard Medical School, okay? The idea of a calorie in and a calorie out when it comes to weight loss is not only antiquated, it's just wrong, says Fatima Stanford, an obesity specialist at Harvard Medical School. She goes on to say, drop the calories notion, says Stanford. It's time to take a different approach, putting the emphasis on improving the diet, what's in the calorie, not how many calories you're counting. Okay, another big article, you can maybe read it. It says why you shouldn't count calories. Listen to what they're saying. Truth is, calorie counting is a terrible approach for weight loss. While counting calories and restricting calories can help you to lose weight in the short term, the approach has never been proven to keep weight off long term. They go on to say what's even worse is 2/3 of people who try to count or restrict their calories gain back more weight than they lost. That's what you're facing. That's what you're up against, okay? You may not think so, whatever, but the evidence is overwhelming that that's what's going on. But here's the other number that you need to understand. 80% of American weight now is overweight. 50% are obese. We now have more obese people than overweight people. It's the first time in history that's ever happened. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And what do we keep doing? Doing the same thing. We keep, yeah, I might get frostbite. Very funny. Okay, you're back again. Just would you just go take a nap or something? I mean, I don't know why you just keep wanting to come on here. Yeah, Harvard Medical School happens to be the preeminent medical research in the world. I mean, but it's not just Harvard Medical School. I've got all these other studies, Journal of the American Medical Association, nutrients, etc. We don't have to give people opinions. If you want opinions, there's plenty of other people that you can go and harass, okay? But you don't have to harass me when I'm giving you life-changing information, okay? So let's look now at the Journal of the American Medical Association, where they looked at time-restricted eating, where you don't eat for 16 hours and you eat for 8. What did they find? Well, they found this. In the new research, they found that overweight adults who were assigned to routinely fast 16 hours daily, eating all their meals between noon and 8, popularly known as the 16-8, gained almost no benefit from it. And over the course of 3 months, they lost between 2 and 3.5 pounds. And most of the weight they shed was not body fat, but lean muscle mass. This is what's going on every diet you're on. Every diet you're losing up to 40% of your lean muscle. Let's go to a 12-month study in the New England Journal of Medicine, considered the second biggest medical journal in the world by the experts, right? This was a 12-month study. One group of people, they lowered calories. The other group of people, they did time-restricted eating. 12 months, what was the result? At the end of 12 months, by lowering calories, people lost a total of 16 pounds. And on the time-restricted eating, it was even worse. They lost 12.6 pounds in a year. But in the study, this is what they found. Both the time-restricted eating and daily caloric restriction diets led to the loss of lean muscle mass. There's your Achilles heel to every diet, because what happens when you go on a diet and you don't take into account nutrition, you just lower the quantity you're consuming, the body, they don't care about that. It doesn't even know what a calorie is. It doesn't count calories. Why are we counting calories? Because someone told us to, right? But so the bottom line is, once they established that fact, then people really, all the other researchers started to look at, wait a minute, they're losing weight, but are they losing the wrong kind of weight, lean muscle? Because see, when you lose lean muscle, your body doesn't have a choice. What it does, it slows down your metabolism. Your metabolism is basically the rate at which you can burn calories. But there's two kinds. It's like if you're working out, that's one metabolism, but the one that matters the most is 23 hours a day, something called your basal metabolic rate. That is the rate at which you burn calories when you're at rest, or you're sleeping, or you're not working out at all, right? But the second thing it does is even worse. It absolutely interferes with your immune system, okay? I lost my younger brother to kidney cancer in 2010. My younger brother was 6'4", and when he died, he weighed 115 pounds. I mean, I've seen it up close and personal. Losing lean muscle mass absolutely interferes with your immune system. It's not up for debate. So all these people that, like want to kid around and, they're not taking it as seriously as what we're facing, okay? We now have 50% of Americans pre-diabetic. We have 45% of America with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which that condition in 1975 did not exist, okay? And anyway, the bottom line is that we keep listening to this noise. We keep listening, whether it's a medical doctor or a chiropractor or a fitness workout person or a weight loss coach or a fat coach or trainers at the gym. What are they all saying? The only way to lose weight is to lower calories. I just showed you 3 major examples that's been completely debunked. And even worse, some of these diets, like this is a big study in nutrients where they looked at low carbohydrate diets, which I've actually done in the past, but I didn't know this. Low carbohydrate diets are associated with reductions in lean muscle mass and an increased risk of osteoporosis in obese individuals. Do you think that's important? Maybe you knew that. And they go on in the study to say reduced muscle mass, loss of muscle mass, is an established risk factor for osteoporosis and has been associated with functional impairment in obese individuals. Should we just pretend this doesn't exist? Like, oh, okay. Well, I don't believe you, Peter Greenlaw. We're going to lower calories and you're full of it. No, I'm not full of it. I mean, you can't tell me with 80% of America overweight, with every disease statistics out of control, that somehow we got this thing. I mean, thank God we have the drugs that we do for diabetics, for high blood pressure, for a lot of those things. I'm not against drugs. But this thing is out of control. You understand, if you got 50% of America pre-diabetic, we're talking about not having enough beds, doctors, nurses, and certainly there are already insulin shortages right now. The price of insulin's going through the roof. 50% are pre-diabetic. That means 50% of the people on this are pre-diabetic. It's really just a matter of understanding that people's opinions when it comes to the science world doesn't mean a damn thing. And I can say that because I've been doing this. I've been a nutritional researcher for 21 years. I've written 4 best-selling books with some of the top medical doctors in the world. I've done over 1,500 lectures all over the world. I appeared 20 times on PBS. I was interviewed 4 times on the 4 biggest daytime shows in America. Do you know for 20 years I didn't mean a damn thing in the medical world? Until a year ago. And a year ago, these 7 peer-reviewed human trial studies came out. They're basically, according to the researchers, that are the top researchers in the world now for 38 years, that these studies are going to obsolete, everything we ever thought about diet, exercise, and nutrition is out the door. It's I mean, why would you, if you could lose as much weight in 7 days safely and lose no water weight and actually end up gaining lean muscle, why would you want to take 8 weeks to do something that's going to cause you to become unhealthy? I don't get it. I mean, I guess I do get it because that's all the noise we're hearing. The only way to lose weight is to lower calories. The only way to lose weight is to lower calories. The only way to lose weight is to lower calories. Well, really? How's it working with 80% of America overweight and 50% are obese? But there's something else we need to be even more concerned about, and that's this new medical syndrome that's called TDOS. It stands for toxicity. This is the T. The D is deficiency. The O is for being overweight, and the S is for stress. Every single living person in the world and every person in this podcast, you all have TDOS syndrome. And here's what they're saying about it. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control, through the National Center for Health Statistics, has conducted a series of blood and urine tests on thousands of Americans, measuring and monitoring the absorption of chemical toxins and at what concentrations these chemicals occur in the body. Think of it as the ongoing Manhattan Project of public health research. Unfortunately, many of us contain large amounts of these chemicals within our body, and they're creating toxic atmosphere that is seriously damaging our health. They go on to say each of these chemicals acting on its own is a potential toxic problem for human health, but multiple chemicals acting together presents a mind-numbing research challenge for the CDC, for the chemical industry, and any independent research team. Every one of us is storing chemicals in our fat cells. That's why it's not just that people are overweight, but it's the amount of fat that they have on their body. I mean, we've now got a worldwide crisis on our hands. This is the Lancet, the #1 medical journal in the world, and they just conducted a study saying that 1 billion people worldwide are clinically obese, not overweight, clinically obese, making obesity the leading form of malnutrition worldwide. They go on to say most people are not aware that obesity and being underweight are both forms of malnutrition, because in both cases, the people are not getting the right amounts of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and the types of calories that are required to be healthy. 1 billion people are clinically obese. How do you think that's going to turn out? You think there's going to be enough hospital beds? But it's getting worse. That's the problem. And what do we keep doing? The same thing. Lower calories, diet and exercise, 10,000 steps, all this. None of it's working. I mean, look at young people. Look at kids. Look at what's going on. This is a travesty. They actually talked about that. Listen to this. According to the study, around the world, experts are warning that our children are paying the toll for adequate action against obesity by world leaders, pointing out that those under 18 account for an estimated 160 million of those who are now obese. What? And they say obesity affects every human organ system, and so at a young age can have a major impact on a child's life, increasing their risk of type 2 diabetes, cancer, mental health issues, and many other illnesses, which can lead to shorter and unhappier lives. Do we just ignore this? Do we ignore? I mean, this is the canary in the coal mine. This is the canary in the coal mine. Go to Walmart, go to Kmart, go to Target. Have you ever seen anything like this? And I can address this because I'm very sensitive to it. My mother was morbidly obese my whole life. I never knew her thin. I never knew her healthy. And 23 years ago, she called me up one day and she said, Peter, I have one really big wish. I said, what's that, Mom? She said, I would give anything if I could spend 24 hours thin. I said, wow, Mom, that's cool. Well, it wasn't so cool. 6 months later, massive heart attack and stroke. My mom only wanted 24 hours thin. Not a week, not a month, and certainly not a year. And that, I know a lot of you are in sort of quiet desperation going through this. I get it. Well, again, let me show you as far as the chicken skin goes. Look at this, 30 days. Look at the difference in, well, she lost 21.2 pounds, but 38.75 inches. But look at the no loose skin there. But here's a better example for you. This one, you can see a whole body shot. October 3rd, day one, exactly 5 weeks later. Look at that, no loose skin. Look at how much she thinned down. You ever seen a diet do that? Any diet on the planet? And now let's look at an athlete just to see how amazing this is. Okay, so this is day one, this is day 5, and then look at day 12. Look at the transformation. That's only 11 days, not 11 weeks. But it's not a diet. It doesn't work like a diet. What it's basically doing is helping the body to remove chemicals from us, and the body, because the body's storing the chemicals in those fat cells to protect us. It's that simple. It's not complicated. Now, at any point, yeah, you can see it. At any point, you can go for a free consultation. You go to the New Health Conversation. I'm not kidding you. You go there. We'll show you all the medical evidence. There's an interview with the #1 nutritional researcher in the world who did the studies. They don't sell anything. Their only goal is research. It'll blow your mind. You'll see. You think these before and afters or something? You see the before and afters there. I don't even show them because you think that I'm crazy. Maybe you think I'm crazy anyway. Wait till you see the people lost tremendous amounts of weight. No loose skin. I know it sounds impossible, but we see it every single day because the people aren't going on diets. They're not counting calories. They're making every calorie count, though. That's a whole different scenario. So what did these researchers do? How did they create results that, took people 2 months that they did in a week? Well, they did 4 things. Number one, they developed a grocery list that you can literally take to the grocery store, and they shopped on that list, which represented 50% of the food that the people typically ate, right? But the other 50% of the food, and this was the key, came from all over the world. Came from Russia and Mongolia, Manchuria, came from Nepal and the Himalayas, from South America and New Zealand. Why was that important? Because these weren't supplements, these were foods. Because for the most part, our food in this country is becoming more and more nutritionally deficient. So to make up for that, they went and found foods around the world. So half the food that people consume came from the grocery store. The other half of the food came from these foods from around the world. This is not supplements, okay? And then they had 2 completely different ways of consuming. See, you've heard this, like, time restricted eating where you don't eat till noon the next day. One of the most unhealthy things you could ever do to the human body. And all the proof, I read it to you before in the Journal of the American Medical Association, where they said that when you go on time restricted eating, most of the weight they shed was not body fat but lean muscle mass. That's what's going on. So whatever these people, whatever they're telling you, it's not based in scientific proof. Because I know they're telling you, well, the main thing you lose on time restricted eating is fat. Not total nonsense. No, not true at all. Okay. So the point is that we keep trying. It's sort of like what we're doing is we have a square peg and we got a round peg, and what people are doing, they're giving us bigger hammers. I don't care how damn many times you hit that round peg, it ain't ever going to fit in that square hole. We need the new health conversation. We need a new approach. That's what these medical studies prove. They prove there is a new approach. It's not a diet where you could lose weight 12 times faster than any diet, and instead of losing water or lean muscle, you gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass and improve all your metabolic functions in 30 days. Sounds pretty good to me. I mean, I just think that probably what we can do is have you, if you want to, go to the website, look at the medical proof, and if you like what you see, sign up for a free, and I mean free. No, by the way, so just work out all day, that's the worst thing you could ever do. The evidence is really clear. If you do diet and exercise, you lower your consumption and then you exercise, you actually lose more lean muscle than if you just lower calories. It's proven. Exercise is not a long-term weight loss strategy. It never has been. That's been proven over and over again. And there's study after study saying that if you diet and exercise, it's actually the worst thing you could do. And the people then gain all the weight back really. I go to the gym. I have a trainer. I see the people in there in the Stairmaster and the bikes and everything, and day after day after day, sweating, whatever. They don't lose an ounce. They don't lose an ounce, okay? So I know that's a theory, but the medical proof is that does not work, okay? As a matter of fact, there's a lot of sentiment now, like with Olympic athletes, they're actually having them work out less than they used to because there's something called overtraining. You can actually overtrain. So again, by the way, the people who did these peer-reviewed human trial studies, not only the top nutritional experts in the world, they're some of the top physiology experts in the world. They've worked with Green Berets, Navy SEALs, marathoners, NFL football players, triathletes, you name it. They're not against exercise. But they had to eliminate exercise in this case because otherwise they would have never known if they were going to be able to have this do the impact that it did. So again, for everybody, you can go to the New Health Conversation if you want, and you can see the evidence. We're not giving you opinions. We're giving you evidence. Now, if you want some other version of reality, that's cool, like, and I'm not picking on you, but diet and exercise is not sustainable, and it's not work. My God, we have more gyms than ever. We have more celebrity. Does anybody think that what we're doing is working? I mean, you know what the projections are right now? Within 20 years, they're saying close to 100% of America is going to be overweight. 100%. What are we going to do about that? So I'm going to wrap up this podcast right now. I do them 3 to 5 times a day. So tomorrow I do work 7 days a week because I do a lot of consultations with people. But I would really encourage you to go to the New Health Conversation. What do you have to lose to set up a free, and I mean free, consultation? I don't know. I know your skepticism is holding you back. You can't believe it. But we can't go more. We can't go more than peer-reviewed human trial studies. There's no higher... And do most of you even understand why a peer-reviewed human trial study is so important? Well, number one, it's done on humans. It's not on I always say that. Mice and rats. It's done on human beings. And what happens when you submit, like in the case of these 7, because there were 7 peer-reviewed human trial studies, they submit their studies to, in this case, like the 7 big journals that they were in, but the obesity journal's one of the top journals, right? Well, the obesity journal, they decide if it's going to be reviewed. They don't review it. They send it out to other world-class experts, literally top medical doctors, researchers, whose only job is to disprove what you're claiming. That's how it works. Otherwise, look, they're coming on, they're showing you this, liver pill, all this stuff you can take. If that stuff had one scintilla of proof, they would do peer-reviewed human trial studies. You can't look on TV. You'll say, "Oh, we got a scientific study." It doesn't mean a damn thing. It's jabba, jabba, jabba. That's an advertising junk, okay? A peer-reviewed human trial study is as high as you can go. No drug ever gets approved without a peer-reviewed human trial study, and then sometimes they get it wrong. We all know that. But at least we have a system, a scientific method of evaluation. But you understand the evaluation was not done by these researchers. It was done by world experts. Now, the journal that's even the most significant, and this just came out about 3 weeks ago, this is in Nature Communications, the #1 medical journal in the entire world. It's so exclusive that out of 100 studies submitted to them, they look at 7 and they publish 1 or 2. It's irrefutable evidence. That's all I can tell you. So I would hope that you find the New Health Conversation to be of benefit to you, and I hope you will go to the website because it's free, and I hope you'll sign up for a free consultation. It's up to you. It's not up to me. It's not going to change my life, but it really could change your life. Again, I don't get the rationale other than pure skepticism. If you can lose weight, well, you can lose weight on any diet, but as we proved to you today, it's unhealthy weight loss. It's up to 40% of your lean muscle mass. You compare that with this new protocol where people were able to lose weight 12 times faster than any diet and gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass, didn't lose it. I mean, what do you have to lose? So again, you can see it up there, the New Health Conversation. I would encourage you to go there and see if you can, sign up for a free consultation, and then we'll go from there. So I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And like I said, I'll probably do at least 3 of these podcasts tomorrow. So if you have friends or people that you want to turn on to it, you're more than welcome to send them. And I hope that we're providing a public service at a minimum, okay? Because where else are you seeing this medical proof? You've seen a lot of opinions. There's a lot of opinions out there, okay? So anyway, thank you all, and hopefully we'll see you on another podcast.